At St Andrews, we look after this crucifix that was made in France. We don't know when exactly. The inscription on the base was only put there after it arrived here in Redruth. And this is what the inscription says. The figure of Christ on this crucifix came from the Church of Notre Dame in the town of Albert in northern France. It was blown out of the west front of the church during the bombardment of 1917. And although the original wooden cross was completely destroyed, the crucifix itself was found undamaged amongst the rubble. It was given to the officer in charge of British troops by the townsfolk as a token of thanks for the gift of some rations and other kindnesses. It was cared for throughout the remainder of the war by an officer present on the occasion and brought back to his hometown, Redruth, after the war. In the huge scope of wars in the past, in the unfolding and worrying events in our world today, as wars are still fought and where service personnel and our security services still put themselves in danger every day for the good of their fellow human beings, I find that inscription very moving and encouraging. The notable thing that the townspeople of Albert noticed that day was not some new war strategy from one side or the other. It wasn't signs of some next big maneuver. That day, the war raged on as usual. What the townspeople of Albert noticed that day was that a group of human beings who happened to be soldiers had shown kindness to some people in desperate need, even though they were foreigners to each other. That's something every one of us can relate to and appreciate, I hope. Today is a day to remember and be truly thankful for the sacrifice of those whose lives were lost in the carnage of war, however long ago those losses were. But it's also a day to remember that on the small human scale that each of us operates on every day, there is always room for respect and kindness towards people of every sort, whether it feels like they're the same as us or completely different to us. In this time of pandemic, it's easy and understandable that we might feel like throwing our hands up in surrender because so much of life is uncertain and pretty depressing. But actually now more than ever is a time not to be overwhelmed by things we have no control over at all, but rather to do what we can, to concentrate on the small interactions we can still have with our neighbours, to do the good we still can, to show love and hope and respect and kindness whenever we have the opportunity, like that soldier from Redruth in Albert in 1917. Our act of kindness may have no bearing on worldwide events, but it might make a world of difference to the person we show that kindness to. Jesus said, "No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. This is my commandment," said Jesus, "that you love one another as I have loved you. You are my friends if you do what I command you." Amen.